and I am Wisetail's Customer Marketing Specialist. Thank you all so much for tuning in today. So I would like to start out by introducing our panelists. We have Bart Fricks, who is Copper Cellar's COO, and Orville Ownby, Copper Cellar's Network and Infrastructure Manager. So we'll get to know them a little bit better here in just a bit. But to get started, so Copper Cellar and its employees have undergone immense change since the beginning of the pandemic and are still evolving as the world around us is constantly changing. Today, we'll discuss with Bart and Orville the actions they took as they've been navigating this year of change and how their LMS has played a vital role throughout this period of time. We'll also get to peek into their LMS, the Family Lounge, to see how they have been able to keep employees connected throughout the year. And with that, we will kick off our conversation. So to get started, we'll go with our, sorry, looks like these questions are out of order, so I apologize. First question for you both is what are both of your roles at Copper Cellar, and can you talk a bit about what you do?
So, hello, I'm Orville. Appreciate everyone joining in today. I'm our Network and Infrastructure Manager. I maintain and manage all of our servers, network connections, Wi-Fi, all throughout the company and all of our restaurants. I handle all the user accounts when you hire new managers. I get all their accesses created, get them into all of the programs that we use, their email, things of that nature. I also do all the IT troubleshooting. So anything from laptops, desktops, we have a lot of tablets and mobile devices. Anytime we have issues with those, I troubleshoot those, work on those. We've got a new phone system that we're currently installing, an IP phone system. So doing everything from ordering, building the phones, programming them, getting them installed, running the cables so that they'll operate. And then when I'm not doing any of that, I'm working on our LMS, like Lana mentioned, what we call the Family Lounge. I manage that, update that as needed, and I train people on using it the right way.
Thanks. And Bart?
Hi, Bart Fricks. I'm the Chief Operations Officer with Copper Cellar. Let me take a minute to tell you a little bit about Copper Cellar. We are currently located in eastern Tennessee in the Knox County, Sevier County areas. We have 20 restaurants and several brands. One of our brands is Calhoun's, which is what I like to call one of the nicest barbecue places you'll ever dine in. We have several steakhouses with Copper Cellar and Cherokee Grill. We have a really neat concept called Chesapeake's that is all about fresh food. We have a concept called Corner 16, which is about hamburgers and comfort food. And then we have Smoky Mountain Brewery, which is a sports bar. We have 4 of those, and that's where we brew our own beer that we distribute throughout our company.
Great, thank you so much. And Bart, the second question for you is, what actions did you take once the pandemic hit and you had to furlough a majority of your employees?
Well, I'd like to even start before we furloughed. I call it pre-furlough, I guess, but we, like a lot of people, kept seeing the news about this thing called COVID or coronavirus that was about to hit the United States shores. I guess we didn't know at the time it was already here, but we were at the time under the assumption that we would be operating through this. So we spent a great deal of time really honing our sanitation standards and practices, and then we actually put all of that information as it would come about onto the LMS, or what we call the Family Lounge. So we had a lot of information at the time that was coming out from local health departments, CDC, and even the federal government. We had a ton of information out there on a lot of the processes that we were changing, from going to disposable menus, disposable condiments, etc. And all of that information we found very valuable to communicate through the lounge. And then we were shut down. So that changed a lot of our plans, and we did have to furlough over 1,000 people. So we did several things to kind of assist with that. We didn't kick them out of the lounge at that point in time. We allowed them the ability to stay on the lounge, to stay communicated with. Several things we communicated with them. Probably the big thing that pertained to them was we made a module for how to file unemployment. We made modules with information on who they should call to file unemployment. We had information, if you recall, at the time, no one knew as we shut down what was going to happen. So there were several food pantries across the town. We put information about those on the lounge for our people. So if people needed information about how to file to get money or where to go to even feed themselves, we tried to get all of that information that we could. We actually had 2 of our people in the office work on finding that for over a week. So we had that type of information out there. We also did a weekly conference call that we announced over the lounge with furloughed people, and we had several of them attend the call. That we just basically stayed in touch with them, I think, was the most important thing for us. And really, with the LMS system that that WiseTel has provided to us, we were able to do that, I thought. And as we opened back up, we were able to start communicating again, back like we were beforehand. And so we even did some things, recently, like the flu shot badge that we did, trying to encourage all of our teammates to get a flu shot. We created a flu shot badge that can be awarded. And then we have a thing called the point store. As people are engaged, they can earn points through the lounge by completing certain modules or just logging in. And so we gave them points with their flu shot badge to try to encourage good health. So those are just a few of the things that we did pre-furlough, furlough, and then I guess after furlough that I think benefited us to be able to communicate and keep people engaged.
Great. And Orville, I'll hand the screen off to you. What else have you guys done within your LMS to keep your employees connected kind of during the shutdown? You want to show us a couple?
Yeah, so I'll get logged into it. It kicked me out. So really, I mean, like what Bart mentioned, everything that we had lived right here. We put that on here so that as soon as they logged in, the first thing they saw was right here. We just wanted to make sure that they felt included, especially with those conference calls that we had. We felt it was very important for them to understand what was going on, things that we were doing, actions we were taking to help feel them still involved, even though they couldn't be here working with us. So we had all of that right here on our main page. And then you see here, there's Bart's communication corner that he'll touch on in a few minutes. He mentioned the flu badge. We've got that right here at the very top. You want our open enrollment is getting ready to kick off. So we've already got a page set up for that, kind of pre-work for them to do. And then what's really, really been beneficial is using the lounge as a one-stop shop communication avenue, because feedback that we got with emails get buried, because we've relied so much on email that you sent an email 2 weeks ago, it's buried, hard to find. So we've really pushed using this as our communication station, and we do updates. So down here, every week, the HR director puts in an HR update. When he puts that in there, a little green banner like this will pop up on there that's new. We'll take them in there, and there's all of our HR updates. We have our own commissary here on site that we provide all of the food for, the food prep, our desserts, things like that. We've got a fresh catch report that anytime they update this, it comes in here, and then there's a banner that says, hey, we've got something new. So we encourage the managers to log into this when they start their shift, keep it up so they can check it periodically throughout the shift. The area directors will do a monthly update that'll go in here. As I do lounge updates, if we add anything to it, features and things will go in here. And then being in tech, there's always things that we're updating and changing. We're working on getting those things put in here. So just adding a very easy and accessible place for people to come get information up to the minute without it expiring or getting lost in email.
Hey, Orville, may I add one thing to that, please?
Absolutely.
One thing, Lana, we also did to try to encourage or almost force people to get on the lounge, particularly management, in our back office computers in the stores. That is the default login. When you log into the computer in the morning, before your shift in the afternoon, when you come in to check whatever you're checking on the computer, you have no choice. You log into the lounge first, and then you can get into the favorites and go to your food order or whatever you're in there for. But you will, when you log in, when you come into work, you will see the lounge, if you're a management person, the very first thing.
Mhm. That's, yeah, really smart
So-
to do. Yep.
Lynn, adding on to that, so we mentioned the badges, and so we've got our core four company principles that we kind of strive and live by: winning together, quality matters, welcome and wanted, and self-accountability. And then we also have what's called a high five. So anytime somebody gets recognized, they can get recognized, they can be nominated by anybody in the company. It doesn't have to be a manager. They can come on here, click the self-accountability, and click nominate someone. And then I'll get a notification that somebody's been nominated for this. I'll read over it. And if it fits, we'll award it to them. And then this badge will show up on their profile. We've got each one of those here. It gives a brief description of what that core four is and what it means to us. So this kind of creates some fun little competition, but it also gives them, recognizes the hard work that they've done. And when on their profile, here's how it'll show up on there. So it's really neat because that'll stay on there, and it also gives them points when they receive one of those badges. So that's another way that we really worked on our engagement and helped encourage getting on the lounge and using it.
Mm-hmm. Great. Thanks for walking us through those different aspects of the site. And it's great to see you guys taking advantage of the kind of merits function of the platform. I know another thing that you guys decided to do was to take down permissions and open up training to all employees, regardless of their position. Can you talk a little bit about why you decided to do that, and maybe just show an example of your position-based training?
Yeah, so we got a suggestion from one of the restaurant managers who was looking for ways to help build some camaraderie within the restaurants and wanted some friendly competition. So we had everything locked down. So you see here, we've got the Calhoun server, kitchen, bar, host training. We had all that locked down per area responsibility. So front of house, back of house. So what we did is we opened it up to basically everyone within that concept can come in and has access to this training. The biggest reason we wanted to do that was, at her suggestion, was it's going to help people understand the other people's roles, because sometimes psychologically, if you understand why you're doing what you're doing, the way that you're doing it, it really helps you not only do it better, but it helps you do it smarter and more efficiently. So we thought it'd be a good idea, one, to build some friendly competition, and then two, to just help people understand, because while we were able to hire back a good bit of our people, some people chose not to come back, and that allowed us to bring people back in different roles. And so that allowed being on the lounge, do that training, it pretty much expanded everyone's knowledge and created a much stronger training foundation. And again, it helped that, the camaraderie that was in the office, in the restaurants, and they really got a lot of success out of the competition that they had.
Mm-hmm. Great, thank you. And could you go over a couple of examples of training content that you have brought into the Family Lounge that were formerly done in person?
Yeah, Orville, if you'll bring the screen up, I'll talk about that with everyone. General managers meeting is probably the biggest thing we put on there that was done in person. We as soon as we were the lockdown ended in East Tennessee, of course we were all to go business during the lockdown, and as dining rooms opened back up and as we brought people back, we realized quickly that there'd been some loss of knowledge, and there were a lot of also best practices in to go that we needed to get shared. So we had a general management meeting. We fortunately have a location we actually have two locations that are on the water. Both of them have large decks, And just so what we were able to do safely was to have a general managers meeting that we gave each general manager a table, spread them out socially distanced, and then we spent the afternoon going over several things that we had learned through the lockdown that we needed to get better on to go, and some general housekeeping things. So we had Orville video the general managers meeting, which I think he was showing you there. And we also had him video the to-go training. We took all of our food together, and we packaged it and put it out in a dining room, and showed everyone what a nacho should go in, what a steak should look like, what a hamburger, etc. And so we had this all videoed, and it's on the lounge in a module type form to get points. So people can get on there if you're a to-go person, and you can see right there the things that you're supposed to be putting things in, whether the chips are going in a bag or a box. There's the nacho all done. There's oysters, etc. So we walked all the general managers through it, but then took these pictures and videos and put them on the lounge for people to take a look at. And I think it was pretty exciting. I think our people kind of liked it a lot. It may not be the most professional looking, slicked out training that someone's ever done, but I actually kind of like it. It's got kind of that word organic to it, I guess. And it really benefited us. Well, I know it benefited us. A lot of our to-go complaints drastically dropped 2-3 weeks after we rolled this out, as everybody got more on the same page and we got better at doing what we were doing.
That's awesome to hear. And I'm just impressed by how quickly you guys kind of came up with that on the spot as things were changing. So thanks for walking us through that. And then kind of moving on is just how do you guys facilitate communication to your employee base through the LMS?
So like Bart mentioned, Bart's got his communication corner here. And as he has stuff come up, he'll put that on here. Each of our area directors have their own little corner in here that they'll post information.
Sorry, Orville, I don't think we're seeing the right screen.
Sorry, I got to click. Right. So here's the stuff that Bart will post in there. He'll talk to that here in just a second. Our 3 area directors each have their own corner that everyone in the company can see, not just their area. And that's where they'll post information. And really what we've done is we have a weekly ops meeting, and we have just continuously every week reminded area directors to tell their managers in their meetings and their rallies, pushing communication lounge, check the lounge, and just continuously pushing the idea that this is where we're communicating from. If you want to know something, if you want to learn something, odds are we've got it on the lounge. And we really tried to back off from relying on email.
If I could chime in on that with Orville, if I had my way, I would get rid of the email system today. Okay, I don't have any use for it, but everything you need at Copper Cellar, if you're a teammate, is on the family lounge. Every bit of communication. So my area directors that report to me, they better have a darn good reason for sending an email, because I don't like them. I think, again, everything that we can put on there for a teammate, that's important. And that's the issue with email, in my opinion, is a lot of unimportant things go on email. So I think it makes somebody pause and take the time to really look, do I really want to put this message up for everybody to read? And so it helps us with that. But we have not only our area directors, but as Orville showed, our other departments that support, whether it's human resources or commissary or IT or whoever, that have their own sections to communicate as well. So we are, I don't have a study done on it, but I'm going to bet you we're back down about 50-60% of emails from the past 2 years when we were on this. I mean, it makes no sense to send everybody an email when you can put this on there and it'll live for a while. I mean, when you go on and put these postings up, you get to choose when it starts and when it gets taken down, from the date standpoint. So if you want to leave, an email's read, deleted, and it's either acted on or forgotten, one of the two, every time you log in, it's going to remind you of what's important on this thing.
Absolutely. And Bart, can you talk a little bit about your little section, Bart's Communication Corner? How often do you post on there, would you say?
I posted on there this morning,
Yeah.
it really, weekly we put our well, I guess I'll go back. Monthly, we'll put out items, the things that company-wise that we've all agreed upon are really important. For the month of October, as we're finishing up, it was staffing the restaurants properly, getting better at to-go, and keeping healthy. Those were our 3 priorities. We're going into November. Our priorities, those will change on November 1. And that's the cool thing. I go on vacation Saturday, but November 1's priorities are already put out there on the lounge. They just won't show up till November 1. I've already got the pre-dates done on that. So that's kind of a great thing, for someone who's doing this. If you go on vacation, you can set the dates and put the information out there, and you don't have to worry about it. But so we'll have the priorities for November, and then we have a weekly operations game plan that we post every week that I write with the help of managers, and we post that. And then you can, as Orville's scrolling, there's a message I put this morning on there about looking our best. One thing that dawned upon me in the age of COVID, if our uniforms don't look clean, that's not going to be very sanitary. So we put a message out there this morning about looking your best, making sure your clothes are clean and you're groomed, because people will nowadays be judging your sanitation on the way you look.
Mm-hmm.
So, really, I don't try to put something daily on there, but that would have typically in the past, say, been an email that I sent out to everybody. Let's try to look our best. But I had a gate between the manager and the hourly employee. This gate is now open, so the hourly employee can, at least I've got a shot of setting an expectation with them. And when you have 1,400 of them, that can be difficult to try to do one at a time.
Yeah.
So the Communication Corner has really helped us. And as Orville pointed out, the 3 area directors have their own communication corners, because, like I said, we have several different concepts. So like Peter's Corner, Peter has the good bulk of our Calhoun's restaurants. So a lot of his information is going to be Calhoun specific. Bill and Jeff, the other 2 area directors, have multiple concepts. So they've got maybe some Calhoun's and some other concept stuff in there as well. So it really helps us all stay on the same page and what we should be working on.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Thanks for walking us through that. And it's so cool to see you, who's in kind of the C-suite level, just be so involved in the LMS, and you're talking directly to all of your team members. And I think that is just such a, unique thing. And I'm sure is very appreciated by all your employees. So thank you.
Thank you. But one other thing I forgot to mention too, and we don't have any on there, but in the past we have done polls on the Communication Corner, or we've just solicited information. 2.5 months ago, when we were trying to figure out how to get better at to-go, I put out a simple question on the Communication Corner: how do we get better at to-go? And I probably had 30 responses on it, and we were able to pull some great information. I've been doing this a long time, and I think the thing I love about the lounge, well, I say I've been doing it a long time, the restaurant business. In the past 2 years, I think one of the most important things in our business that we get out of our teammates is we get everybody's brain, what's in between their ears, their knowledge base. And too many times in the past, we would make decisions or come up with things, and we thought they were good ideas, but we weren't using enough people. We can get on the lounge and have access to over 1,500 brains, and if we can get them engaged, and we're actually able to solve problems not only faster, but have a better solution, because we're involving more people, more ideas, and getting more ideas from the people who are actually on the front lines doing the daggum job. Okay, so that's what I think. I've been able to, I've been a multi-unit for a long, long time, more years than I'd like to admit, but what excites me about the lounge is I've got access to 1,500 people at any given time, and it's made my job a lot easier.
That's great. Thank you so much for those insights. That's such a cool perspective that I've never really heard before. So awesome. Great. Well, if that kind of wraps up our kind of Q&A portion. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to submit them through the Q&A tab. It looks like we did have one come in. Let's see. Oh, for some reason. Oh, no, it's in the chat. So the first question for you guys is, so we have a question. It sounds like one of the challenges that this person is facing is integrating meeting sessions into the LMS. So are you guys integrating Zoom or Teams or Google Hangouts in the LMS at all to facilitate meetings? And if so, how are you guys doing that?
We just, well, our weather has been good where we live for a while. So we've been doing meetings. In fact, we had a meeting yesterday outside, again, on a patio at a restaurant. Now our weather as we go into the fall is starting to get bad. Now you told me you had snow up there in Montana. Well, we're a cool 65 degrees in Knoxville, Tennessee this morning. So we've still got some time, but we are currently looking at, I think, what we get, Ring Central, Orville.
Yes.
So we haven't gotten to the meetings like we're doing now on computers. We are in the phase of that. So I'm sorry, I don't know that we can answer that for them.
Okay. Let's see. And then it looks like one person raised their hand, and Tara, I might need your help with this one. Let's see. Maybe I can. It looks like Alma.
Hold on, I will unmute you. Okay, Alma, you should be able to talk now.
See.
Alma, did you have a question?
Maybe she's no longer. Oh. Looks like she's on mute. Well, if Alma, if you do have a question, please feel free to send something through the chat or Q&A. Another question for you, Orville. How long have you been working on the LMS, and how long did it take you to kind of get up to speed with how to use the admin tool?
So I took over pretty much in the middle of the shutdown. And what Bart did, Bart got me set up with our team at Wisetail, and we scheduled a weekly meeting. And as basically we would have a meeting to go over things, he would give me advice on things that I needed to work on, things I was gonna be using a lot, basically how to navigate through it. And then me being a tech guy and just the background that I have, I just got into it and just started playing around. Kind of limited my access at first, that way I couldn't delete anything for good. But I just got in it and just played around, poked around, and got comfortable with it. And then I would just type up questions for our next meeting, and then I would shoot those over to him earlier, and we would spend 30 minutes to an hour going over different things. Hey, how do I do this? How do I do that? I couldn't figure this out. Is that something I can do? Is it not something I can do? And really, I would say after about 3 weeks of doing meeting every week, added the super admin permissions. And then we moved our meetings to every other week, and now I go once a month. So I picked it up fairly quick. Someone if you know how to navigate through a computer, I would say it'd take you, a couple of weeks to where you're comfortable on the admin side. We've got someone right now that's shown some interest. I've been working with her for probably 2 months now. And after we met 2-3 times, she really picked it up and is really comfortable taking over, doing a lot of the things that I do on a weekly basis for maintenance. So to answer your question, it took me probably 2-3 weeks without really getting on it, because before I didn't really use it a whole lot, because more of the work that I did was more, on the computer side that I mentioned earlier. So it came to me fairly natural, just getting in there and playing around and figuring stuff out.
Great. And then we did have a question come in. So they're saying, so typically LMS and training kind of falls under the HR and operations umbrella. And I think they're asking why having someone in IT kind of control the learning and development.
I'll take that, Lana. I mean, operations still drives our lounge. Human resource still drives our lounge. But operations and human resources really I don't know how to make any of this stuff. I mean, I was in Bozeman and attended the training, but I don't know how to do this. So we actually picked Orville because he's good at stuff like this. pick somebody who is good at this. And so he doesn't make the content per se. We give him an idea or we draw it up, and then he might improve upon it, but he basically sticks with the nuts and bolts of making the content good and operate for us. But it's up to us to decide, do we want to put to-go training on there? Do we want to put this on there or that on there? The rest of us, I have super admin powers as well, and I approve things. And I'm very active on the lounge myself. I'm on it daily, liking photos, approving it, engaging with the teammates. But we're a smaller company too, so we do a lot of crossover with things. A larger, more company or a public company that's broken up into different departments and might not do something like that. But at 20 restaurants, everybody wears many different hats in our company.
Absolutely. And there's a question that just came in asking if there's a guest login to look at the various sections of the site. And I think it's pronounced Sabri. I will get in touch with you, and we can hook you up with one of our sales engineers to get you on a demo so you can look at different client sites. Let's see. Looks like I'm not seeing any other questions come through. We'll give people a couple more minutes. What has general employee feedback been throughout the past couple of months? Just general feedback on using the LMS for training and communication. And do you guys have a way you're collecting feedback currently?
Well, we obviously they can respond to things. They are very active on the communication corners of responding. We allow them to make responses on the operations game plan or anything that's written. There is a chance for them to speak about that. But most teammates I talk to, they love the thing. Everything they need is found in one place. The communication's found in one place. They're very active with wishing each other happy birthdays, nominating people for badges. So overall, very positive, very, very positive to be looked at. And haven't really heard too many negative things about it.
Great. That's good to hear.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, it looks like those are all of the questions for today. And for everyone attending, we will email with a recording of the webinar will be sent. And if you have any other questions at all, I will put my email address in the chat section for you guys.
Lena, while you're doing that, a lot of times I get asked, well, what does it look like on a mobile device? So I've shrunk it down, and this is what it basically just compresses it. So this is what it would look like from a mobile device. So it's exactly how it's going to look like on the web, just kind of shrunk down a little bit, just to get
Which is
people an
what
idea.
most of your hourly people will be looking at is a mobile device.
And are they logging in via their phones? Do you guys have iPads in break rooms, or how are they accessing the site?
Usually they're iPhones. We catch them on those enough.
Yeah. Now, for when it's a new hire, we have iPads. Each restaurant has 2 iPads that are designated for training, and that's what they log into at first to go through.
Yeah, Lana, that's a good point. Orville did bring up there about the iPads, that we invested at least 2 iPads, as many as 4 or 5 in our higher volume stores for the ability to for a new hire to sit down and during the shift or during their training shift to get on the lounge and get whatever they need.
We did have just another couple questions come through. How do you guys keep track of hourly employees using Wisetail after hours, like after they clock in or clock out?
Well, we don't require them to use them after hours. If they want to use them after hours, that's on their time, and they have the ability to do that if they want to. But if we require it, if we say go home, we want you to spend 2 hours tonight studying beverages on the lounge, then we have to pay them for that time. But if we say, hey, you're, off tonight, you're not doing anything, if you want to get on the lounge and peruse it yourself, you're more than welcome to.
Mhm, mhm. Great. Well, it looks like those are all of the questions we have for today. But thank you both so much for your insights here and kind of walking us through your whole story of how this year has gone and showing us the LMS. It's greatly appreciated. Sorry, one more question, and then I think we'll we'll end it here. But are you guys using communication on modules, or are you doing now ads in it?
Yeah,
I believe.
so yeah, let me pull it up for you really quick.
Mhm.
So we've got both. So over here, right now, the now at is for IT, because our point of sale systems come under these, fall under this. So that's where, like, if their servers are ringing in something that's not being routed right, or it's not coming up with the right price, or they've got a suggestion, they can put that on here, and me and the other IT guy will get that. In the learning part, let that load really quick.
Hey, Lana, one reason we chose IT was the servers deal with the POS system way more than someone like I do. So I don't know what should be on the POS system. I mean, other than hamburger or steak or whatever. So we've allowed them the ability to communicate with IT and go, we would like a button for honey mustard. I'm just making that up. Or we would like a button that says spicy or whatever. IT will generally, during our weekly meeting, or Orville might call me and run it by me just to make sure I'm comfortable with it. And then we make that happen. And so we're making our POS changes a lot faster, which makes them happier. They don't have to hunt and peck.
So then under each training module, we've got it opened so that they can comment on it. So, I mean, you see a lot of times, most people are just, putting a thumbs up emoji or something, but every now and then you'll get some little deeper feedback. We like that it was lightest to darkest, enjoyed all the info, things like that. So anytime we post something, we normally leave the comment section open so that they can create dialogue and talk
And
back and
they're great.
forth.
They're great about telling us everything we've misspelled, and every slide
Yeah.
put in, the wrong order or whatever. So, and that helps us clean up our materials, our training materials as well.
Yeah. Great. Well, again, thank you guys both for walking us through that. And yeah, if anyone else has any further questions, please feel free to reach out to me directly. And I think with that, we will conclude today's session. Tara, I don't know if you have anything else you'd like to add before we end things.
Lana, Orville, Bart, thank you so much. That was really very helpful. I loved seeing that myself and can see a lot of other uses for it. I'm with you, Bart, about email. It's just killing me. So it was very nice to see this alternative.
Great.
Yeah, thank you all for the opportunity. It was great getting to share kind of the work that we've done. If it helps people out, then even better. We're glad we could do it.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us. If you're ever in East Tennessee, give us a look. We serve great food.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.